For the next 10 days, I'm gonna eat mostly potatoes.
Cheers. I hope you enjoy your stone soup.
Stick around to see why the heck I would do such a thing. That's really, really nice. It's crazy how much sweeter fruit is when you kind of deprive yourself of sugar. But it looks like I'm eating straw. I definitely have a weird brain fog this morning.
You should stop eating potatoes.
That soup was nasty.
Like actually, like if we were actually just gonna have that for dinner, does it taste good?
I'm focusing on the monotony. I'm trying to not make it fancy like I did last time. I realized no one asked for this. This might be the best thing I've had so far. It's only 10 days. You can do anything for 10 days.
Ugh. I don't know if this is worth doing.
Do I want malt vinegar? Maybe later. See, the beauty of this thing is that potatoes are delicious, especially on day one. So I just needed something to get me going. I had to work out, I'm hungry, you get it. So greetings and welcome to or welcome back to PB with Jay. Here on the channel, we focus on all things plant-based goodness. And today I'm going to do my second attempt at doing a Mary's Mini cleanse, I think is the official proper word title thing. I did one of these a couple of years ago, and I don't think I actually did it properly. I think I tried to go a little bit too fancy with some of the meals. So I've always wanted to go back and do it again, but I wanted to do it at a time where I felt like I needed a bit of a reset or a cleanse, which is why I'm doing it now. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you what is a Mary's Mini, how do you do it, why do people do it, and how I'm going to approach it, and I'll let you get a window into how my health meters change or don't change over the process. So I just need another bite of potato. It's essentially a trimmed down version of the McDougall diet. 10 days where you eat predominantly one starch. You can pick whatever starch you want. I'm using just white potatoes. I might switch it up between yellow and russets. The other thing you get to eat is any non-starchy vegetables of your choice. It says this can be the same or a different choice each time. I think the idea is you shouldn't have too many different ones. I probably already screwed up because I got cucumbers here and I have peppers. And the other thing that's new that you weren't allowed to do when I did this thing the first time is you're allowed to have one piece of fruit a day, which I'm gonna tell you is huge because the one thing I was definitely missing was something sugary in my meal palette, whatever, throughout the day. So that's gonna be a game changer for me. So the last thing to keep in mind is that they say that while this food needs to be as simple as possible, you are allowed to add some condiments and dressings to it. They suggest salsa, ketchup, barbecue sauce, etc., as long as they're oil-free. I'm gonna try to keep it as simple as possible. I've added nothing to my potatoes this morning, and they're delicious this way. They really are though. Like potatoes just on their own are really, really good. My whole childhood, we loaded them full of salt and butter and fat, but man, if they're perfectly cooked, they're just like, They're about, I don't know, 140 calories each, I think, on their own. So even if I do eat all four of them, plus these vegetables, we're still looking at probably only 500 calories for my breakfast. So why are some of the reasons that someone might want to do this? Well, there's actually quite a few of them. First, weight loss. Potatoes and other non-starchy vegetables are actually fairly low in calories, but high in volume. So eating them makes you feel fuller, even though you're consuming fewer calories. Also, while you're eating this way, you're keeping things really, really simple and you're avoiding any processed foods, which just in general, as you can imagine, naturally supports weight loss. Another reason might be digestive health. Potatoes and vegetables are both high in fiber, which supports a healthy digestion. It reduces bloating and it keeps your bowel movements regular. It's also just generally a good gut reset. A simplified diet can do kind of wonders for your system, especially if you have any discomfort from like any poor eating habits. It can improve your satiety. Like potatoes are filling and satisfying, so if you're eating a good number of them at your meals, there's a good chance you'll have less desire to snack in between meals or to overeat. The combination of starch and fiber also helps you regulate hunger. It's also good for your blood sugar regulation. provides like a low glycemic load. So while potatoes are high in carbs, they're low in fat and processed sugars, which means you're gonna keep any blood spikes manageable, especially when you're pairing them with non-starchy vegetables. Also, surprisingly, this kind of diet does give you steady energy. There's a really good chance you might actually experience fewer energy crashes throughout the day because your body is going to be steadily releasing glucose because of these starch-heavy meals. One of the other things it can do is reduce your food cravings. The repetition and simplicity of eating just potatoes and simple vegetables actually kind of destroys that decision fatigue you have, and it also just helps eliminate the cravings for like really fatty, rich meals. Think of it like a reset of your palate. One of the reasons why I'm doing it is actually to reset my taste buds. Over the course of the summer months, I tend to indulge a little bit more in, even though it's like healthier things, it's still probably more sugars and whatnot that my body needs. And so what this does is it creates like a new base plate for my tastes. So that way I appreciate the nuances of natural flavors a lot more coming out of this. For those that aren't used to eating whole food plant-based, what's really, really good about this is it can also promote healthy eating habits, especially because this diet, as well as how I eat normally, is oil-free. And also for those who aren't used to eating a lot of vegetables, this is another way to increase your vegetable intake, which increase your vitamins, your minerals, all good things. There's also mental and emotional benefits that come with this. As I already mentioned, doing this can just be a real break from the stress of having to figure out what you're eating for the next 10 days. Unless you're me and you still have to cook for your family, which will be fun to watch them eat meals while I just eat this. But this is so good. On day one, this is so good. It's also just good for your body and your mind to take a break from eating crap and sugar and all that kind of stuff for 10 days. And also, last but not least, it's only 10 days. You can do anything for 10 days. So I think largely speaking, it's primarily used for people to jumpstart weight loss or to reset their palate towards a more whole food plant-based way of eating. And that's more what I'm using it for. I just find I like a good cleanse every year or so just to get me back to basics. And that's what this is for me. I don't know if I'm gonna lose any weight on this. I might. I'm gonna be tracking all of my health measurements through this new awesome revolutionary scale I got called the Body Pod, which I'll tell you all about a lot more later on. What's cool about this thing is that it measures a lot more than just your weight, which, as a lot of you know, doesn't necessarily give you the full picture of your health. This time around, I'm gonna be keeping it very, very simple. As you can see for this meal today, I literally just bake these potatoes in my air fryer. I just cut up some vegetables. Super simple, no additional sauces. That'll likely change as we go along. I'll probably do some somewhat interesting things with the potatoes in the next couple of days, but I'm not gonna overdo it like I did in my last attempt at it a few years ago, because I really think I just went too far with it and I didn't focus on the core principles of this. I think I was too obsessed with, well, what can I do with only potatoes in the kitchen? And that's not really the point of what we're doing here. So that to say, I'm probably not going to show you every single meal I make because a lot of them will probably just be similar to this, but I'll show you anything I make that's interesting or special that you might want to consider if you do something like this. And I'm going to tell you how I feel about this whole process over the next 10 days, good and bad. And you're probably going to see my family making fun of me throughout the process, which is always fun for you, I'm sure. Before we go any further into the video, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of the people who have said hello to us in the comments down below. Patricia from Peterborough, Ontario, Heather from Maple Ridge, Canada, Kim from Oxford, Michigan, Karen from Blanco, Texas, Judith from Sacramento, California, Jordan from Colorado Springs, Darsha from Belleville, Canvas, Shar from Delaware, Marley from Columbia, South Australia, Russ from Indianapolis, Indiana, Ricky from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Stephen Talbot from Yamba, New South Wales, Australia, Kim from Northeast Ohio, and Piotr from Wrocław, Poland. I'm really hoping I pronounced that properly. I'm sure I butchered it a little bit. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to shout out here on the channel, all you have to do is say hello in the comments down below. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from, and let us know what your favorite thing that you like to make with potatoes is. And if you want to bump up on that shout out list, you can always join us over in the Mighty Network for that perk, along with a bunch of others, all for the price of a crappy cup of coffee a month and you get access to a members only community, which is ridiculously supportive, especially if you're doing something like only eating potatoes for 10 days. It's kind of a cold, crappy day, so I decided to just throw some potatoes and some green beans, some vegetable broth, an onion, and a little bit of no salt seasoning into the Instant Pot for 12 minutes to see if I couldn't make some kind of a soup. I'll probably puree a little bit of it, hand blender, and that'll be that. I will say, I don't know if it's just I had a really busy weekend, but I'm like, I feel a little bit of brain fog this morning. I don't know if that's like the lack of fat that I would normally have in my breakfast with my granola or something, but I definitely have a weird brain fog this morning that I don't love. This is about as plain as a soup can get. I mean, the onion does a lot of heavy lifting. Make sure there's no oil in the hot sauce. Nope. That helps a lot. Yeah, this is fine. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's plain. It will hopefully fill me up. And it made enough for maybe my dinner tonight or a lunch tomorrow. We shall see.
Much later.
What?
Having stir fry, huh?
Come on. You got potatoes.
You don't get any of my potatoes.
Dad loves potatoes. I'm so happy.
So they're having a veggie stir fry, and I'm having a delicious bowl of potato soup. So I didn't have enough potatoes in the actual broth that was left, so I just cut some up and air fried them a little bit. It'll give a little texture in the soup.
I hope you enjoy your stone soup.
Why is it floating?
Because those are the ones that I air fried.
Oh, there's nothing in it.
Because I wanted more potato.
There's nothing underneath it.
There's lots in there.
You're just gonna eat the top and it's gonna be water.
What do you mean? This is my fancy dinner.
Not fancy.
You guys making fun, but this is my version of delicious today.
Well, does it taste good?
Mm-hmm.
Like actually, like if we were actually just gonna have that for dinner, does it taste good? Or does it only taste good because you're on a potato diet?
Oh! Oh!
It tastes fine.
The
Why
broth
do you...
is so like watery.
Well, yeah. The version I had earlier was better. This is thinned out because I didn't want to have to
It tastes
make
like
dinner.
goldfish.
Like goldfish?
Uh-huh.
I didn't.
No, I said old fish.
Old fish. I'm focusing on the monotony. I'm trying to not make it fancy like I did last time.
Trying not to make it fancy?
Yeah, you gotta keep. It's supposed to be monotonous and kind of bland. It's supposed to be. That's part of it.
Why?
Because it's about resetting your taste buds, so you appreciate flavors more. So I can stop eating chocolate after dinner. That's the reason.
Why don't you just stop eating chocolate?
No, it's not that hard.
Because to do
You
that,
have to do this to stop eating chocolate?
I'm not gonna stop eating chocolate.
I'm
But
stopping eating chocolate and I'm still eating a delicious dinner.
what?
Dad, work smarter, not harder.
You're not wrong.
I don't think I'm gonna tape dinner anymore.
Eat less.
Because when I wasn't rolling the tape, they were just ignoring me, and now they're being mean.
They weren't ignoring you.
No, we really weren't. We were laughing at you.
Where's Dad tonight?
Where'd you go?
Huh, that's so weird.
I
Why he's
don't
not
know.
here?
Maybe if you have some of this potato.
That's my soup! I'm feeling pretty good. I decided to keep it simple this morning. I'm literally just having some baked potatoes with some mustard. This is something I learned from Annie. Mustard on potatoes is good. Give them a little pop. So yesterday, I ended up going to bed early yesterday, or earlier than I normally would. I was just kind of tired, and I wonder if that wasn't from lack of calories or something. Although it's not a bad thing to go to bed earlier, right? I could probably definitely get more sleep than I do. So I'm going to chalk that up as a positive thing. And this morning I weighed in, and I was down a little over half a pound from yesterday. So we'll see how that continues. The one thing I'm going to start thinking about is what can I make for meals that I can make in bulk so I don't have to cook as much. Especially when you're cooking the same thing over and over again, it just feels like an extra step I don't need to take. So I'm thinking about that for lunch. It's lunchtime, or it's going to be lunchtime soon, and so I'm actually going to take a second stab at making a soup. And the mistake I made yesterday was that I just didn't make enough. Because really, the beauty of making a soup is that if you make a decent amount, it lasts for many, many days. A lot of people do this sort of potato cleanse because they're trying to lose weight. Now, here's the thing we want to remember about health is that the number on the scale is just one metric that we need to pay attention to. There's a lot of other things, particularly around our body composition. You know, how much fat to weight, how much visceral fat, and all those kind of things. So the problem with traditional scales is that they just tell you one thing. They tell you your weight. And we can get obsessed with that number when it really is not as necessarily crucial and important as many other things. Because the other thing that traditional scales don't necessarily do is they don't really look at our body in particular. And that's why you need something like a body analyzer, which is what this scale that I'm going to tell you about today is. It's called the Body Pod. It is by Hume Health, and I think it's kind of a game changer. I have done DEXA scans in the past. You've seen that here on the channel because I'm just on a lifelong journey to make sure my body is the optimum health. And the problem with, these kind of machines is that you got to go somewhere else to use them. You got to go to a gym. To buy one of these things in the past for your own home would have been like 20 grand. This is the first portable body analyzer scale, and it's also the first that uses AI to help you figure out what's best for your body. It measures your weight, obviously, but it also uses 40 other health metrics to help you decide how well you're sleeping, emotional stress, all these other things. It does a really, really incredible job, and it really is a groundbreaking thing in the field. And luckily, you're getting this for an incredible deal because Hume Health is giving us 15% off their standard cost if you use our link and code in the description down below. And it's only active for a little short period of time, so don't sleep on it. As you'll see throughout this video, I'm going to be using the Body Pod to measure what happens to my own body throughout this process. So stick around to the end to see all those results. And in the meantime, make this soup. So for this soup, I'm doing it all in the Instant Pot. And I'm doing it pretty rough. It's just gonna be a rustic kind of, not unlike soups you see me make on the channel here, where I just went in the fridge, grabbed a bunch of stuff, and now I'm just gonna put it into a pot all together. I'm just gonna put enough liquid in there to cover up the vegetables. And because Woolie's not eating this, I'm gonna use a can of diced tomatoes as well, just because that's gonna give it a lot more flavor, and it's gonna give me some of the liquids as well. And then at the end, I'll probably sprinkle in some spinach that I have. If all goes well, this should last me a couple days, and I won't have to think about cooking a couple meals along the way. Although I'm hoping tomorrow, I've got an idea for something I'm gonna make for breakfast that I hope I can do in another big batch that I can use for a couple days as well. All right, time to try out this magnificent concoction I've made. Ooh, that's really, really nice. I'm gonna have this with some strawberries and cantaloupe as my fruit for the day, which I'm really excited about. It's crazy how much sweeter fruit is when you kind of deprive yourself of sugar for even a day. This is the guy who put a little nooch on my broccoli. Our broccoli could have been cooked a little longer.
No, it's perfect.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, you get a little crunch.
A little crunch?
If you cook it too much, you're gonna lose all the nutrients from it.
Fair enough. French fries and broccoli. And it has some malt vinegar and ketchup.
You're allowed ketchup and sugar.
I'm gonna have some malt vinegar and mustard. You need a fork? Fork. So this morning for breakfast, I thought I'd try something a little bit different. I'm not trying to be too adventurous. We have this giant head of cabbage that needs to be eaten up. So I thought if I grate that up with some potatoes and some apples, I could make some kind of a potato pancake. And I wanted to make enough for like 2 or 3 days. Again, just so I don't have to do this every single day. Here's a problem though. If you've ever made like a latke potato pancake before, latke, sorry. You know that you usually put some kind of a binder in there If you eat animal products, maybe an egg. For me, I'd use a flax egg. Anyway, something. So it doesn't really stick together all that well. And also I was being lazy. So I just spread it all out over the wide bottom of our air fryer. And now I'm gonna see how it tastes. So I baked this at 355 for like 18 minutes or so. Oh, no, it's good. I was hoping the apple would give it a little sweetness. And it does. I can't decide if I want to cook it all up at once and just reheat it. And my weight this morning was another, I'm like a pound and a half down, I think, from the beginning. So for tonight's dinner, I definitely kept it simple because I just wanted to keep it simple. I reheated some of the fries from last night and added some little baby potatoes, and I just poured salsa on it. That's it. And Velma's very excited for me. Hey, Velma. Oh, she stopped. Of course she did. Oh, what? Wait, you did that. What are you guys having for dinner?
Roasted
The hair. Can you pick?
from the PB with J website. All our meals this week are from the PB with J website. But you're not eating them with us.
Hey, you made me drop my bean.
Uh-oh, the bean's been dropped. What are you gonna do, Popeye? Oh, ow, 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 ow. Happy day 4. I'm having my weird, not quite a potato pancake, but it looks like I'm eating straw. And it's a little burnt, but as I just said to my son, this is the kind of meal you eat and you're like, you know what? Later on, I'm gonna eat a meal that tastes good-ish. It's not bad. It's just, it's what it is, and I've got enough left for like one more morning, so I'm gonna have this tomorrow too. It's not bad, it's not great, it's fine. And because there's very little apple in this, I'm gonna allow myself like another piece of fruit as part of my day. Weight keeps going down little by little. I feel good, I feel fine. I feel hungry for sure, but not in a bad way, in the way I normally feel in the morning after I have my workout before I eat. Come back later and I'll give you some potato fun facts. Lunch is just more of that soup, a green tea, and some water. This is that point in time when the monotony really starts to kick in. So to battle through, I'm gonna give you some potato fun facts. Space potatoes. Potatoes were the first vegetable to be grown in space. In 1995, NASA and the University of Wisconsin-Madison collaborated to grow them aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia, making them the ultimate interplanetary snack. If you saw the movie The Martian, starring Matt Damon, you might also know that. I mean, that's not a real story, but he grew potatoes in that movie. Tater tech. In the 1800s, the potato was briefly used to generate electricity in rudimentary batteries. This concept still holds today, as potatoes can produce a low but steady voltage when used in a potato battery experiment. I never did that as a kid. Did anyone do that in school as a kid, potato battery? That's not something we did. Golden potatoes. The world's most expensive potato variety is Le Bonnet, grown exclusively on the French island of Noirmoutier. Let me know how badly I pronounced that. Harvested by hand and cultivated using algae and seaweed, and it can cost up to $300 per kilogram. Potato phobia. There's an actual fear of potatoes called potnophobia. Refers to the fear of potatoes or foods made from them. Are any of you scared of potatoes? This video is probably very triggering for you if so. Potato vodka. You probably know that potatoes are used to make vodka, but do you know that some of the world's best vodkas are made from potatoes? Potato vodkas are known for being smoother and creamier compared to their grain-based counterparts. Potato messages. In the 1840s, European farmers carved messages into potatoes and then sent them to the US as a unique form of letterhead, known as potato mail. It was a quirky way to communicate before reliable postal services. And the record-breaking potato, the largest potato ever grown, weighed a whopping 18 pounds and 4 ounces. And it was grown in England in 2010. It was roughly the size of a newborn baby. If you know any potato facts that I didn't mention, let us know in the comments down below. So for dinner tonight, I'm gonna try to make mashed potatoes with like a mushroom gravy. Velma wants to go on a walk. So the two things that I know I can't put in the gravy, which would traditionally go into a gravy, are like fat and flour. So I'm gonna try something. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I'm going to cut up an onion and some mushrooms, and I'm going to get them going in the frying pan. Let the mushroom really release its juices. I'm going to then, here's my thought. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna take half of the mushrooms and onions and I'm gonna put it into my magic bullet with some aquafaba and blitz that and see if that does anything that I can use to kind of mix it together and just make some kind of like a creamy frothiness to it. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'll probably add some other seasonings like some sage and some poultry seasoning and some salt, a little bit of salt and pepper maybe. Oh, that's really good. Apologies for the swear. It's really good, and as I mix it up, it gets darker too. Sweet. I might just put this in with the potatoes as opposed to water and just flavor the whole thing. And put some spinach in. For the potatoes, I'm just gonna chop them up into like small pieces and I'm gonna put them in the Instant Pot, just cover it with water and then put it on for like 8 minutes. And then once they're done, I'm gonna drain them out, put them back in, and just with a little bit of vegetable broth, I'm going to mash them down and then top them with that gravy. And hopefully I'll make enough mashed potatoes I can have this for more than one night. It's an experiment. I'm not trying to get fancy. I'm just trying to eat a variety of vegetables and I want a different flavor. I'm trying these mashed potatoes. I think they look really, really good. Yeah. Oh, that's the flavor I'm missing. You want to try these, Annie?
Not really.
Well, you want to try it with the potato? No. Why does no one want to try it? I think it tastes good.
Yeah, probably because it's the best flavor you've had since you started your potato diet. That soup was nasty.
The first soup, I made a better soup. The soup I have now is good. And my breakfast thing I made this morning was not terrible. This might be the best thing I've had so far.
It's really bland.
It's bland? Do you think it's bland?
I don't know. I feel like I know you can't have salt, right?
Christmas.
I could probably put a little salt in there. What'd you
Because
say?
I feel like with like the gravy that we usually make, it's like salty, so it adds to it. But this one, you just like, I mean, there's not like no flavor, but
Okay,
Yeah.
put some salt on top. Ready?
there's flavor.
Cheers. It smells like Christmas a bit. I can really taste the gravy.
No? That's how much my taste buds have reset already. I think it tastes amazing.
You should
And they think it tastes bland. I'm just gonna bring this pot to the couch and watch Survivor. I'm actually planning on saving half of this for tomorrow. Nooch! Hot sauce! A little bloop, 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 dink, 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 dink. And then just a dab of nooch. Bloop, bloop, bloop. The sound effects make it extra tasty. Alright, now we're gonna let it cool because I probably cooked it for too long. So, lunch on day 5. Soup again. I think I already mentioned that. Anyway, soup again. The soup is definitely the most sustainable thing. I think this made enough for like 4 days. This is day 5, and I have enough for one more day, so maybe it made enough for 5 days. So soup is like a perfect for lunch because I usually don't have time to make something. I'm usually eating leftovers. So I definitely recommend a soup as part of your cleanse if you're doing potatoes or really anything. Soup is just nice and easy. You can make a big batch. It's easy to throw your extra vegetables in there. So where are we at 5 days in? So body weight, I'm still around the same I was yesterday. I may be up like 0.1 pound. So it's really fascinating because the other thing that this Hume Health app shows me because of this body pod device and software is that my body fat is way lower than I thought it was because I have a weird body because I lost half my weight. And when that happens, you have extra skin in weird places. I did get skin removal surgery around my stomach because it was literally hanging over like a saddle. Apologies for the mental image that I just gave to all of you. And it was causing, sweat rashes and whatnot. And so I got it done. It was like a 6-week recovery process, which was enough for me to say, I don't want to do this on the other parts of my body. So I just have weird skin in places. You know what? I realized no one asked for this. You can see back here, I've got this extra just skin that's never gonna go away. It's like my eternal love handles. There's like a little bit of flab on my arms, even though there's quite a bit of muscle there now because I've been focusing on that. But also just my upper chest is always gonna have this little weird saggy skin stuff going on. I'm so sorry, I just put that visual into your head of me tweaking my nipples. Anyway, all to say, my body is gonna be weird and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna have excess skin and spots. But the thing is that excess skin also weighs something. So a traditional scale is gonna tell me that I'm overweight because of that. And even on this Hume Health app, it shows that my body weight is higher than, the average. But because it's showing me all these other metrics, there's up to 40 metrics it can show you, including your fat to muscle mass, your water retention, your bone density, so much intel that lets me know that I'm actually doing just fine. And if it wasn't for a scale like this, I would probably think I'm overweight and be conscious and curious and sad about all those things. This is a good thing for my mental health because any of us that go on a weight loss journey, especially those that are in maintenance, it plagues us, We always have that fear that we're gonna return back to being overweight, So this is the kind of thing that lets me know that I'm staying on track, even though my weight isn't necessarily where the typical barometers tell you it should be, and the BMI is not exactly where the barometers tell it should be, because what it's really doing is measuring all the important things like visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, all of those things that let me know that I am well within a healthy range. So thank you for creating something like this that people can have in their own homes. It's really nice. And luckily, because you're watching this and because you're part of our community, you can get a discount on a scale like this down in the description below. So check that out. I think it's a limited time on the discount, so don't sleep on it. And now my soup should be cool. One thing I should mention is that last night before dinner, I felt a little lightheaded. I didn't mention it when I was cooking the mashed potatoes because I just kind of wanted to get through it and I didn't want to worry my family. But I felt a little lightheaded. It was also hot in the kitchen. I had like 3 burners on because I was making dinner for my family and I was rushing around. And so that's something, I don't know if it was eating less or what it was, but I drank a lot of water. I stepped outside for a minute and it was fine. So just be real careful and monitor how your body feels while you're doing this. We're about the halfway point right now. And I don't know, maybe we can stop at 5 days. What do you think about that? Are you all cool with that?
It's the morning of day 6 and I just weighed myself and I'm basically where I started. Ugh. I don't know if this is worth doing. I'm literally having second thoughts right now. I'm gonna go for a walk and decide what I'm doing because it feels weird to keep doing this when I already feel like I might have gotten the benefits and the weight loss is not gonna happen because I probably don't need it.
Mama, come. Come. Good girl. That's it. No.
So I just did my day 6 weigh-in.
Yeah.
It's literally almost the same as when I started.
You should stop eating potatoes. This is ridiculous.
I'm kind of thinking it's like I've done the reset part, which I think is good, but it's clearly not doing anything. My body is clearly at a weight I'm healthy at.
So stupid. I hate that diet. I love it. I think it's great for people.
I don't think it's stupid. I think it's good for people that actually need to lose a significant amount of weight and need to get away from the standard North American diet.
Well, I think also the idea is that you don't like potatoes enough to eat like a ton, whereas you really like potatoes, and so you eat like, I think you're probably eating the same amount of calories.
No, I'm not. I calculated actually. My average meal is like 400 calories.
Oh, right.
So, I don't know, it's strange. It's strange to me. And it's also, I don't have enough energy.
Body fat.
What's that?
What's your body fat?
Like 8%.
Yeah, so you don't have any fat to lose. You're probably gonna lose muscle.
Oh, I don't know.
Because you're exercising.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing I'm worried about. I'm
Velma,
like,
your ball.
Velma likes to dig.
Where's your ball?
And that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking about it too, because
I'm losing muscle probably, and I'm depriving myself of other nutrients that I could be eating from other foods that are good for me. I gotta think about it. I'm definitely gonna have breakfast with potatoes, but I don't know, this might be maybe I'll finish the day and see what tomorrow brings. But I don't know. I found some basil. So I'm gonna have that with my little potato scramble, that and some potatoes, maybe some cabbage and spinach, and then I'll probably throw a salsa on top. I'm still thinking and debating. I know I can do it. It's not that I couldn't do it for 10 days. That's not the hard part. The hard part is knowing that I might be only doing it for this video, in which case that seems silly. If I know that it's not being optimal for my own health and for just what I want right now, which is like building muscle and all those things. I don't think it's helping that. I'm also going to run a pie contest for my daughter's school today for their fall fair. Not that I'm planning on having any pie or that any of it will actually be vegan. If there is a vegan slice, it's not a bad way to break out of this. So, I quit. And right now quitting feels delicious. I had a lot of mixed thoughts about continuing for the remaining 5 days. I want to start by saying this. I don't think the Mary's Mini, the starch solution, is a bad thing at all. Honestly, we follow the starch solution principles pretty much. If we don't call it that, we just call it a balanced way of eating. But, if you look at the way we're eating, it's not far off. I just think that for someone who is at the point in the journey of weight loss and maintenance that I'm at, the Mary's Mini is not effective. For those who saw my first time doing it, you'll also remember that about halfway through, I experienced a similar moment where I saw that my weight was not going down. I've gone up in weight? Are you kidding me? And I assumed it was because I was eating too fancy. I was trying to be, just do too much with it. And this time I kept it really, really simple. I was actually kind of half-assedly counting the calories to some extent, and my meals were averaging around 400 calories each. So what I got concerned about after day 5 was that clearly it wasn't eating any fat off my body, because my body pod scale said that my body fat percentage was really, really good. So what it was doing was eating away at my muscle, probably. And here's the thing that I had this time that I didn't have last time. I had that body pod scale. And I know they're a sponsor for this video, and it's gonna sound like I'm just blowing smoke, but honestly, so many people have a fixed number in their mind when it comes to weight loss. And they think because of, BMI and all this other crap that's out there, they think that this is the number they have to get to. But what they're not taking into account are things like their bone mass and just other factors that are really, really hard to measure without advanced tools. And so they go on a weight loss journey for far too long, which is what I did. My weight right now hovers around like the 210 mark. And every other weight scale BMI thing would tell you that I am overweight, because it's not really taking into factor my true body. It's just using the standard measurements, which nobody is standard. We are so lucky to live in an age where we've got advanced scales like this body pod scale that can actually tell us where our body is truly at, so we can stop worrying. I've got a wasp floating around me, sorry. Anyway, just to put a little bow on it,
Additional love to Hume Health and that body pot scale. Don't forget to use the link down below if you're interested in something like this. If you are on a weight loss journey and you don't want to get frustrated with wondering where your weight should actually be at when you get to the point of maintenance, it's a great tool. And as far as I know, it's one of the only on the market that can do what it does. And they're offering you a discount code for being part of our audience. So take advantage of that for as long as it lasts. I hope you're not disappointed in me that I didn't go the full 10 days. I just didn't think it was right for me and my body at this point to do an experiment just for the sake of a YouTube video. If you want to mock me for giving up in the comments, go right at it. I can take it. It's totally fine. But if you found some value in this video and you think it's worth showing for other people who are on a weight loss journey and potentially struggling, please hit that like button to let YouTube know to share it with other people. Subscribe for more content like this. And this is the video that YouTube wants you to watch next. And while you're considering whether or not you're going to do it, I'm just going to keep eating my breakfast. Mm-hmm.